My name is Dr. Niduraj Panikar, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, St. Thomas College, Bhilai. Today, I'll be talking about terrestrial adaptation in vertebrates. We know adaptation is the process where a species or an organism gradually becomes better acclimated to its environment. Or we can say adaptation is the physical or behavioral characteristic of an organism that helps an organism to survive better in the surrounding environment. Animals living on land means terrestrial animals show following types of adaptations. So first is cursorial adaptation. It is related to speed. Fossorial adaptation related to burrowing habit. Arboreal or scansorial adaptation. Then aerial or volant or flying adaptation. Then desert adaptations and adaptations to cave life. So coming to cursorial adaptations. The animals inhabit open spaces on land and are adapted for running on hard ground. They follow this type of adaptation. Their body is streamlined that offers least resistance during stiff movement. Limbs are elongated with reduced digits. Forelimbs are comparatively less developed as they are concerned with feeding, and hind limbs are the main driving factors. So they move on their digits, that means fingers and toes. So they follows digitigrade locomotion. In these mammals, the bones of limbs, that is, the carpals, metacarpals, tarsals, and metatarsals, are raised from the ground, being supported by thick muscular parts. This sole pods helps to sustain various shocks during movement. Some mammals, such as horses, the hoof is well developed, having distal flattened angual bones. They are supported by cushion-like parts and perform anguligrade locomotion. So let us see what are the types of locomotion. First is plantigrade locomotion. So plantigrade species are those that place the full length of their foot, including podials and metapodials, on the ground during each stride. For example, humans. Then digitigrade. This type of locomotion followed by canines, felines, birds, dinosaurs, etc. Anguligrade locomotion. Example horses, cows, deer, and other hoof animals. So in forelimbs, ulna and in hind limbs, the fibula bones tend to reduce an adaptation for fast running. So this is about cursorial adaptation. And their clavicles also become shortened. The distal elements of foot and hand show a tendency of lengthening, which provides enough sides for muscle attachments. The neck is long and eyes are raised high up on the head with keen vision. For example, ostrich, emu, kangaroo, hares, tigers, leopards, deer, etc. Then coming to fossorial adaptations, that means burrowing type of adaptations. So these animals are adapted for burrowing mode of life. Their body is either cylindrical or spindle shaped to offer least resistance during burrowing. The head tapers anteriorly to form a snout. The body limbs and girdles become adapted for digging. Forelimbs and hind limbs become shortened and stout. Their forelimb is broad with long claws and its bones wear prominent tuberosities for muscular attachment. And they also undergo hibernation in winter due to scarcity of food like insect and vegetation. And their tail is short or vestigial. And their eyes, external ears, and other cutaneous sense organs tend to become vestigial as there may be an obstruction in burrowing. The scaled vertebrae fuse and intercentral ossicles develop between lumbar vertebrae, for example, in the case of moles, hedgehogs, etc., and thereby giving firmness and strength to vertebral column. Examples of animals showing this type of adaptation, that is moles, desert snakes, hares, hedgehogs, echidna, rats, etc. So then coming to arboreal or scansorial adaptation. These adaptations have evolved in various land animals due to their climbing habits. So they are adapted for climbing on trees or other objects. And scansorial animals may be lizards, such as they are wall or rock climbers. Then terrestrial arboreal, for example, rodents, insectivores, and some insects. They climb for food and live on ground. Then arboreal forms, which are perfectly tree-dwelling animals, such as gibbons, monkeys, etc. And the pectoral girdle, that means shoulder joint, is strong with well-developed clavicles and scapula. The body contour is stout with subcircular thorax. The ribs are much curved and tend to be more in number than example in sloths. Forelimbs become elongated for swinging on trees. Their hind limbs may be prehensile, for example, for grasping, with more or less opposable digits in the case of primates and sloths, or non-opposable with well-developed claws in the case of cats and squirrels. And adhesive parts, which are present on tips of digit or on the soles of feet, helps to hold on the wall or branches of trees. Example: geckos, tree frogs, wall lizards, etc. They move on their whole foot. They also show planetary type of locomotion. So they have well-developed claws. For example, cats, squirrels on the feet and soles. Soles bear spines and tubercles, for example, in the case of porcupine, which aid in climbing. So the digits tend to fuse. They show syndactyly, fused digits, as in chameleons, marsupials, and birds. The tail may be prehensile, example, in the case of chameleon, monkeys, etc., for grasping the branches of trees. And tree frogs, tree snakes, chameleons, squirrels, marsupials, lemurs, sloths, primates, etc. show this type of adaptations. Then coming to aerial or or flying adaptations. So these changes are concerned with the flying habits of animals as shown by the flying lizards, draco, birds, mammals, and flying frogs, Dracophorus. They have a boat-shaped body which offers little resistance during flight. The forelimbs in birds are modified into wings which have large surface area provided by feathers. Skins become folded between the forelimb and hind limb being supported by ribs to form patagium, which act like a fan during gliding, in the case of flying lizard. In amphibians or flying frogs, the feet are waved which sustain in the prolonged leap. In bats, forelimbs are modified into patagium, fold of skin, which is supported by all the digits except the first and extends along the sides of the body up to the tail. In insects, wings are the thin membranous folds of their exoskeleton. In birds, bones are hollow, light, and spongy, and having air filled cavities which add buoyancy during flight and also reduce body weight. Sternum is well developed, providing attachment to specific flight muscles connected to wings. They have strong flight muscles for flapping their wings up and down. Sense organs, especially eyes, are well developed. In birds, the jaws are modified into beaks. Example: birds, bats, insects, etc. Then coming to desert adaptations. So desert animals, we know they depend on succulent plants, example in the case of rabbits, or on the blood of the prey, such as carnivores, for supply of water. The desert lizard has a hygroscopic skin that absorbs water from the atmosphere just like a blotting paper. And their skin is thick to avoid perspiration in the daytime to prevent the loss of water. And camels, they are having large flat sole to properly walk and run on sand without sinking. And also they are having humps on their back to store food and fats. Camels store sufficient water in special water storing cells also. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils are well protected from the blowing sand particles. Some animals escape the extremes of heat and cold by burrowing into sand and become active in the morning and evening. Examples of animals adapted to this habitat is camels, kangaroo rats, snakes, rabbits, lizards, etc. Then coming to adaptations to cave life. So we know cave animals are usually nocturnal. They're active at night. There is a loss of pigmentation in their bodies. In the absence of light in the caves, the eyes have become reduced or functionless. The tactile and olfactory organs are well developed. In bats, the sense of echolocation is highly evolved, which enables them to avoid obstacles and catch insects during flight in the darkness. Echolocation is sound that animals use, and if it hits something, it bounces back to the animal and tells them where the object is, how big it is, and what it is. So bats use this to catch prey and not fly into things. Then glowworms. We know glowworms that glow through bioluminescence. So bioluminescence is a chemical reaction, and when the animal is scared, for example, they emit light. So this is a Texas blind salamander. So with no sunlight and no requirements to see, this salamander has not only lost its pigment in its skin, but it has also lost its eyes. To replace such a loss, has formed extremely adapted receptors in the skin which detect the tiniest movements in water. Thank you so much.